Hi guys, me again, back in another cemetery. I haven't been to this one before. This is a new one for me, and I've passed this one numerous times on my way to and fro to the neighbouring town. This is about a 10-minute bus journey from my hometown, and I'm getting quite used to coming to cemeteries on my day off or when I have some free time before work. And you may be wondering, David, is it creepy or scary to be walking around these graveyards and these cemeteries? And yes and no. It isn't that scary. Apologies also if you can hear a load of noise in the background. There is this big crane over there that is destroying a building. So if you can hear some noises and you're wondering about what it is, now you know. But anyway, this isn't really scary wandering around a cemetery. Yes, I know that under each of these headstones there is a coffin with a body that's probably nothing but bones. And yeah, I mean, I know that, but it isn't that scary. It's kind of, in a kind of a morbid way, a really relaxing place to actually be, because no one's around apart from a massive crane next door that's making a load of noise. It's very peaceful, and it can be very nice to actually walk around these places. So let me just wander around this place for a little bit. Let me get my bearings, because I haven't been to this graveyard before. It looks really nice. It's really well kept. There is loads of graves here. This might be the biggest local cemetery to me that I've been to. I've been to two, but this seems to be the biggest one, and all the graves are really kept really nice. And yeah, it's really pretty here. So I have found a place that is suitable for me to sit. This place is vast, it really is. It's like completely mind-blowing, this graveyard. How many times have I passed this place on the bus going to and from the neighbouring town to actually go shopping or seeing a movie or whatever, and I pass this every single time, and I've never known how vast and expansive this place is. I also want to say that, I shouldn't say this, but I'm saying it all the times I'm coming to these cemeteries, I'm going to be super respectful of all the graves and any staff members or any visitors. I know that I'm doing these graveyard videos for October because it's Halloween and ooh, scary filming in the cemetery. But with that said, yes, it is a really creepy and scary atmosphere, but as I said, I don't really see this place or any other graveyard now to be that scary. It's just a very calming and peaceful place. But if you do come to cemeteries or graveyards and do what I'm doing, please be super respectful, and just remember to respect both the living and the dead. So today I am going to be reviewing Smashed by Junji Ito. For those of you who may or may not be aware of, I recently got Winner by Junji Ito in my most recent, or one of my past recent, Abominable Book Club box subscription things. And I really enjoyed it. It was the first horror manga, or manga in general, that I have ever read. And despite its size, it was about 300 pages long, but I read it in 2 days, or about 2 or 3 days, and I really enjoyed it. And based on that, I bought 2 more other books by Junji Ito, Frankenstein and Smashed. And in my review video, which I will put up on the screen, and I will have a link down below in case you want to check it out, I asked you guys what one you would like me to read and review in October, and Smash got the most votes, and that is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So I thought that this one was going to be a novel or a continuous story, or one continuous story like a Remina was, but no, this is a short story collection. I remember seeing this in the bookshop and I briefly skimmed the back of it, very briefly, and I think that in my mind somewhere I knew that this was a short story collection, but I didn't really make that connection. But all these stories are really good. I have written them all down in a list, and as I usually do with a short story collection where I talk about it, I am going to say the title of the story, what I rated it, and say a little bit about it. I'm not going to go in super deep depth about each of these stories because that would be a super long video, and God knows how long this video is already. So all the artwork in this is absolutely gorgeous. As always, if you have read anything else by Junji Ito before, it is more or less the same thing, so you know what you're going to expect. It is all in black and white. There are no colour illustrations in this, and it is very dark, creepy and atmospheric. This book does touch on subjects that may trigger you, such as child endangerment, death, and also eating disorders, murder and suicide. So keep that in mind, guys. This isn't for children, this is for mature readers only. So the first story is called Blood-Sucking Darkness, and this is about a girl who has been recently dumped by her ex-boyfriend for a more attractive female, or a more attractive girl. This puts her in a very bad place, as she thinks, oh well, my boyfriend just dumped me for a very slim model and I want to lose weight, and she tries to do that, and she tries to get slim, and then one day she loses all this weight, and then she meets up with this strange individual, this strange guy that is infatuated with her, and he says, oh, I love you, I care for you, come and see what I've got something to show you. And he shows her this shed with all these bats in it, which basically suck the blood from this guy and her. And I'm not exactly sure how it works, but this process allows both of these individuals to lose weight and also be a part of this flock of bats. So I really like this story. I give it full marks, 5 out of 5. Next is a story called Ghost of Prime Time, and this is about a couple of female comedians who aren't funny. No one finds them funny, but everyone that interacts with them and witnesses their acts bursts out into laughter and cannot help laughing, and this ultimately results in these people dying of laughter. No one knows why this is happening. Everyone knows that these two female comedians aren't funny, but they cannot help but to laugh. We do find out about why this is happening, because our main character doesn't have a sense of humour, and he can't find humour in anything, and he uncovers the mystery about why this is happening. The next story, called Row, is about two hikers who are hiking in the woods, and they witness this vision where they see this massive flood, and all these people are in this flood and they are drowning and saying, help me, save me, and all these remains of these buildings are floating in the river, and then all of a sudden it vanishes and it doesn't appear that this flood actually happened. They soon discover this strange shack where this elderly man tells them that this is a phantom flood and it is constantly reoccurring, and He has to try to save some loved ones that died in this event, and it's very, very good. I really liked it. I give it a 4 stars. Next one is a very strange one called Earthbound. Now this is set in Tokyo, and then pretty much overnight there is all these people standing in all these weird and unusual positions, you know, with their arms stretched out and held up against their heads and maybe standing on one leg, and they are like human statues. They don't move, they don't do anything, they're not being a nuisance. No one knows why they are there or what they are doing. They can communicate with other people, but no one knows what they're actually doing. And obviously we do find out about why they are doing this, and I won't say anything about it, but it's a very, very unusual story. It wasn't the best. I give it a 4 stars. Next one was a story called Row Doorbell, and this is about a group of siblings who are trying to put an event of a car crash that happens in their family, like you know, in the past their family was in a car accident which was caused by a gang, and a specific member of this gang was mostly responsible for the death of their parents and for making their lives, yeah, rubbish. And there was a trial in this book as well where he was convicted, and from that point on he has been mysteriously appearing at this sibling's house, asking them, or no, begging them for his, to actually let them forgive him for what he has done to them and their family. This was a very unusual and creepy story. I really liked it, but because of the gang violence I didn't really have much else to think about it. I give it a 3 stars. Now these next 3 stories are all connected to one another. The first one is called The Mystery of the Haunted House. This is about a strange building that was abandoned, but it has been advertised as being a haunted house, and it is charging ridiculous prices. And the proprietor of this place says that if you go in this building you'll be scared out of your wits, and this is the best haunted house, and if you aren't scared I will gladly give you your money back. And everyone obviously that goes into this place is scared and they come out screaming, and these 2 boys from this town are curious. They say, oh, let's just sneak into this place overnight and see what the big deal is. And when they go into this place, I won't say what they actually see, but I'm not entirely sure about what they actually see themselves. I don't know if it's a vision of hell or what. It's just a bunch of all these weird and creepy things. But I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 marks, 5 out of 5. The next story is called The Mystery of the Haunted House, Soshi's Vision. Sorry if I have mispronounced that character's name, but that character is the proprietor of the haunted house attraction. And all I've written down for this one, it's about a woman that is investigating the disappearance or murder of her family, and she finds the haunted house and the mysterious proprietor. I can't really remember much about this story, but I must have liked it a lot because I give it 4 stars. The next one is called Soshi's Beloved Pet, and this is obviously about the proprietor of the haunted house, but this is when he was a child, and we find out that he had a family and how his sister and his brother brought this stray cat home, and it was very, very cute and adorable. And when he got his hands on it and interacted with this cat, he turned it into something very horrific and basically a monster, and it had basically changed overnight. Also, I just want to say that in all these stories, Soshi has all these nails in his mouth, and sticking out of his mouth he can spit out nails like a nail gun. So I thought that was a kind of a unique and weird thing to actually include. But I gave Soshi's Beloved Pet 3.5 stars out of 5. Next is a story called In the Mirror Valley, and this is about a group of guys that go to this abandoned town, or towns are facing each other, and all along the paths and streets there are all these broken mirror shards, and they don't know why they're there. It's kind of like a big mystery to them. But they know that mirrors were a big part of this town, and they are there primarily to figure out why that was. So they have brought this massive mirror with them, and they want to know what will actually happen if they do this. As a result, we find out, or they find out, that both these towns had mirrors facing each other for some mysterious, weird reason I'm not really sure about. But we find out the history of these two towns and their dislike for one another, and it was a very unusual story. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. I give it a middle of the road score, a 2.5 stars out of 5. Next is one that is called I Don't Want to Be a Ghost, and this is about a guy that is driving along a highway or a road at night, and he comes across a woman standing on the side of the road. He pulls over, asks what she's doing. She's all covered in blood, and he takes her to the hospital, and we find out that she has kind of maybe a crush, sort of. It's not really romantic, but she's more infatuated and obsessed by this man. And we come to discover that she was born in very unusual circumstances, and as a result it's made her want to consume the souls of the deceased. No offense to anyone here, but I really liked it. I give it full marks, a 5 stars out of 5. Next was one called Library Vision. Now this is about a man that is living in his house, and he has a very, very big library. Pretty much every single room in this guy's mansion is filled with books, and that's all he cares about. Yes, he does have a wife that he clearly loves, but he's obsessed with these books, and he is constantly looking through the shelves and making sure that it's all in order and none of them are missing, and if some of them are missing, he basically loses his shit. And we find out about this guy's family, like his mum and dad, and there are these 2 books. I don't know whether they are real life books or whether they are fictional books that are attached to both his mother and his father. I thought that was a really nice touch, but this was a kind of a middle of the road book for me again, or story rather, so I give it a 2.5 stars out of 5. Next was one called Splendid Shadow Song, and this is about a female singer or a street performer who, when she sings and plays her music and songs, everyone that hears this cannot get these songs out of their minds. I thought that this was a really nice touch. We find out about the woman's backstory, or a little bit about it, and why this is happening to both, not just her, but to other people. And yeah, I really liked it. It was a good story, not the best, but it was a kind of a good story. I give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. And the last story, which is called Smashed, which is the title of the book itself. This is about a group of individuals that come across this jar of nectar or honey that was discovered in a jungle, and it was given to a Pacific individual, and it's very rare, and he's been given loads of warnings about this, and yeah, it's very mysterious and unusual, this honey or this nectar, but it is edible. He does actually eat it, you can eat it, but he's been given strict warnings about using it. and some of his friends say, oh well, we want some of this nectar, we want to try some of it, don't actually keep all of it to yourself. So they find it, they take it, and they share it in individual jars for themselves, and when they are eating it, they find out that eating this nectar has deadly consequences, and they are mysteriously dying in graphic ways. I won't say how they die, but it is very unusual, it's very graphic, it is very gory, and it's very creepy. So I give it a 5 stars out of 5. So that's it guys, that is my review on Smashed. Hopefully it hasn't been too long. Loads of cars and vans and trucks have been going up this road, and I've had to like stop and wait for them to go past. So hopefully this hasn't been too long. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, let me know, have you read Smashed or anything else by Junji Ito? Let me know if you have any recommendations down in the comments. I am quickly falling in love with this horror Japanese writer and storyteller. He's very graphic and gory, and I like his imagination so far. I really like what he has to bring to the table. If you have enjoyed this video as a whole, please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you do, please click on that bell, as it will remind you whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. I will also have a link down below to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads and see what I'm currently reading. And with all that out of the way, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.